I'm at Great Witcombe in Gloucestershire, pretty close to Gloucester itself, at a very posh Roman villa. It's not a massive. My stuff I'm interested in is what happened when Roman Britain came to an end and England started. That crisis is what I'm particularly interested in. Partly a romantic idea of an ancient British resistance against barbarism from Germany and northern and the Netherlands and Denmark. And it was, it's pretty much what did the Romans do for us. I mean, I'll put a list of things the Romans did for us, even for reasonably ordinary people, lower middle class people, if you can make that sort of distinction in our Roman British society. You were better off, that is, unless you were a slave, but then the Anglo-Saxons had slaves as well. But anyway, yes, civilization versus barbarism. It's not quite the same, though. It's not quite like that. The Anglo-Saxons wasn't necessarily the bloody invasion. The disaster was pretty much caused by the Romans and the Irish taking advantage of the Romans going off to fight civil wars. But the collapse in the economy and therefore its civilization was very much real. But the Anglo-Saxons brought their own, certainly a culture. I wouldn't necessarily call it a civilization. 200 years later, when they took on Christianity and the written word, monasteries, preservation of knowledge and the good governance, then they become a civilization. But it's the Dark Ages, that period of chaos that's really interesting. There's not a lot here on that. Here we have it's a very posh villa which lasts just till the beginning of the 5th century, which is where I'm interested in, and then basically it collapses in on itself, I presume. A couple of tiles come off, rots the rafters, the roof collapses, and then over the next couple hundred years people steal the stone lying about to make their own houses somewhere more comfortable. It's interesting. This villa's north facing. You would have thought most civilized people would have gone for a south facing, or even non-civilized people would have gone for a south facing aspect. So there must have been something interesting about this valley it's looking down on. There is a spring, probably holy. There's talk on the information boards of a nymphaeum, which I think is what I've just shown you, or I'm about to show you on the video, where the water comes in. It then follows a course into the villa and then washes down through probably where the servants, the slaves, wash, and then goes through the temple, which is their shrine, which is just here. I'm on the ramp next to it, and then down into the bathhouses. I presume the people who lived here weren't the sort that carried on civilization in Britain. Probably fled, I imagine. Certainly they let the house collapse. There are other places, Romano-British headed refortified hill forts and so on. So this isn't one of those sites, but I thought it's something worth doing, showing. Anyway, this is my little trip to Great Witcombe. Anyway, earlier on in the spring, I paid to go on to do some digging on an archaeological dig. Yeah, I know, paid to do that. But I swore to myself I wasn't going to go along there and be a great big know-it-all. I immediately dug up a Roman coin. The director said, "That's 325," and I said, "Well, that's Constantine then, isn't it?" And made myself look like a great big know-it-all. But I thoroughly enjoyed the day. And then you're going to put the coin back, and then some volunteer will get very excited and give you some free advertising. Yeah. It's actually made of resin that you just cast it. I'm so excited I can't hold my camera straight, my phone straight. This is the coin after it's been cleaned up by the archaeologists.